faster. Dick dastardly, a Muttley with sick laughter. A gunfight and they come to cut the mix master. And living the true gods, giving y'all nothing but the lick like two broads. Got more lyrics than the church got ooh lords, and they hold the mic at your attention like two swords. Or you the one with two blades on it. Hey you, don't touch the mic like it's AIDS on it.
We know that when they are using the Department of Justice in a way that is about politics and not about the pursuit of equality and application of the laws equally to all people, we know this is not justice, this is an injustice. When this country incarcerates more people than any other country, America must admit it has a problem of mass incarceration. But what has this administration done? They have increased the use of private prisons, which, as we all know, profit, now let's be clear about this, profit over the incarceration of other human beings. This is not justice, this is an injustice. Justice means recognizing domestic terrorism, including white nationalist extremism, from Pittsburgh to Charleston to Orlando, is a threat to the country we love and should be considered a national security priority.
If you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk?
When I am elected president, I will sign that bill.
They call that turn the beat around. Senator Kamala Harris, thank you.
All righty. Welcome everybody. Once again to the Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially. All righty. Absolutely a clown show. Yes, indeed it was. All right. So hopefully my sound is cool. It's a little crackly on my end. It looks like StreamYard is still kind of tripping. But hopefully we will make it through. So, again, you are in tune to the Beatzilla PDX official show. And this is the weekly wrap-up. We, of course, have been interrupted. And as I've heard, that was Wednesday, we are having some difficulties, I guess, out here in these internet streets, as it seems. So that's what it is. So greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. You see who I got here. So if I sound good over here, then I'll just take these headphones off until I got to listen to the playback. This is killing me. So let's see. RG3 Fitness, LLC, TJ, S. Mont, Judah Queen, TJ, Silent D Productions, Oyela Arquette. Yes, indeed. Welcome, everyone. Come on in. Tanya Zion, Keisha Johnson, View of One. Okay, looks like my mod squad is in the house. That hyena, ain't that what Judge Joe Brown called her? Oh, the hyena. Yes, indeedy. Brandon Cruz sings. Welcome, welcome. So we are here on a Friday. Let me fix this a little bit. Let me get that. There we go. Make sure y'all can see me better. All right. Hopefully we are good. So we're going to get right on into it. As y'all know, we've been watching another attack on one of our own in Dave Chappelle, which, again, when you see that, that means that that is just a proxy to attack all black people. And also remember that Dave Chappelle Again, like I said on my previous broadcast, this is the person who actually put Dead Prez on the main stage. He put them in the movie theater with his Block Party movie. And that was absolutely a banned group. Let me see. Kind of acting. Hopefully I'm level. Almost looks like I'm leaning. All right. Okay. Cackling, man, absolutely, Keisha. You know, she gives that laugh. I'm not going to do anything for black people. No. So, you know, like I was saying with the Dave Chappelle thing, they had to get some black folks to go step out in front of the cameras so they can spew the anti-blackness for the powers that be. And that's what we're seeing. Because what they don't want, of course, is, number one, to watch a rich, powerful black man not cower. Like we already saw Nick Cannon do. You know, everybody was backing away from Minister Farrakhan. Dave Chappelle has not. So they also don't like that. But because he's operating in his own space, showing a strong presence of a black male in the industry that refused to put on a dress. What that say? That means they gotta get him. Still ain't liking this. Sorry, I'm gonna have to keep messing with this. Hopefully we got it. But they just gotta get him. You know what I mean? They won't be comfortable and satisfied until they got Dave Chappelle. Right now, they are already going after Cuba Gooding Jr., Rashana Morrison. Welcome. Yeah, I don't know. And they're talking about groping. I don't know. You know, Dave Chappelle being a real one. Can't say that we actually seen Cuba too much around the turf. So, you know, good luck to that man. In the meantime, we do have Dave Chappelle's back. Even the owner of I think it's the Laugh Factory, came out in support and asked that other comedians that have graced that stage support Dave Chappelle. So circling the wagons, which they should do, because that's a person of their industry. If they don't want their industry fooled with, you better act. This is what black folks should have been doing. Unfortunately, we had so many black folks that was comfortable letting that intersectionality talk infiltrate us as if it would benefit us as well as all these other groups that will, of course, use us as the mules and the voices and the faces of a movement, but we're never the ones who the checks are made out to. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I'm going to show you a little bit of clips of them out here. They got these random black groups that are anti-black family groups. Let's just keep it a buck. Because they don't come out at the death and murder of black folks. You know, really, they're not really coming out. They don't really come out at the death of black trans. If y'all notice that, like when a black trans person is found, killed, murdered, there's no marching by these same groups. They wait until a heterosexual male is making a statement and then say, oh, well now, oh man, all this harm. Well, then why don't you ever go after the actual criminals who are doing the harming? Why are we going after entertainers? Entertainer didn't harm you from wherever he is because he told a joke that you didn't have to watch. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Why y'all talking in all caps? Oh goodness, it's a lot of yelling love in the chat. Oh, no, I know that is RG3 Fitness. That's like she normally types that way. I'm just noticing multiple people in the chat doing it. Oh Lord, but yeah, like I said, oh, it's all good. You know, they have these people coming out here to spew anti-black talking points. This is nothing new. You know, this is nothing new at all. Yeah, they never have anything to say. Our kids get killed in the street, they are dead silent. Then a black trans gets killed, they dead silent. Then a heterosexual black male or woman make a statement of positivity towards just simply being straight. Then it's a problem. Like, who is it? Is that Idris Elba who just had a couple kids? Or no, it was Usain Bolt. So Usain Bolt had his twins, right? And twin sons. These people had the nerve to hop on Twitter upset at this man for misgendering his children. He has no right to call them boys. This is where we are with it. And this is why, you know, as a group, as a collective, for us, we must defend ourselves from that type of stupidity. That's letting idiots and cowards run the yard. We have to put that to an end. If you're not willing to stand across the board, like we're saying, black, trans, black, whatever, if you're black, then it stops there. Now, anything you want to do outside of that, then that's on your own personal thing. But don't ever, like Michael Corleone told Fredo, don't ever speak against the family again. Ever. Because if you're doing something on your own outside of the family, then that means that you're doing subversive actions. We are not, as a community. We're where you belong in the first place. You understand me? Silent D, one who cares, welcome. Oh, yes, indeed. What'd you say, Silent D? Look at that. These LGBT confused folk don't even care about us. Reminder, they raised their flag colors with our Black Power fist when marching for George Floyd. Absolutely. And I'm going to get into a little more of these examples of our fist and our movement and energy, and now even reparations trying to be hijacked by these other groups. And then also show you how it works in tandem with the administration that is in power right now. But we're going to also revisit The View with Condoleezza Rice and her. So, because again, I want to point out, this is what I was trying to do the other day, and they made sure I didn't have them that available for you, but different situation today. So let's first go into Queen Adia. Queen Adia. You could say that a few different ways, but it still ends up with the father's name at the end. You know? So this first video here is, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, at the Blame Black Man rally in LA against Netflix. That's what you could just call it. Because anything bad that happens to trans people now is Dave Chappelle's fault. I can't help but notice the white man infiltrating both spots. And we always tell you this is what white supremacy does. Chooses both arguments. They take both sides. Well, you have patriarchy and white male power structure. Well, the same white men power structure also flipped it around and said, well, hey, we're women now. Now we're the most objectified group, even more so than these black folks. Still white men. But now you have black folks convinced I need to start caping for this white man as if I'm caping for a whole different system. 3-card Monty. And y'all fell for that. I mean, man, we're talking about a crafty enemy, people. So you think they was just going to let you fester, even in the gutter? They got to have a spy with you in the gutter. Best believe it. Come on, man. How best would you know how to keep someone down unless you know you have someone in the midst feeding you information from the downtrodden? That's why you see all these other questionable people around that always just want to be around. They're at your church. They might be somehow in your circles by way of someone else. Because here's the thing. You always, as a collective, we have always allowed infiltrators to come in our midst and then start turning our stuff around. Now we're sitting up here with black folks as a face of a movement to take down another black person for who? White men. Woo-hoo. Boy, what a doozy. This is L.A., I think. Absolute fake outrage. Fake outrage.
You want to be all over the internet embarrassing your own man. Is that what you want? You want to be all over the internet embarrassing yourself? I don't care. Okay, obviously.
I'm here because I want to show people that not everybody believes that you should cancel an artist for saying ideas that you don't agree with. It's a very small minority of people in the world that think that what Dave Chappelle said is hate speech. It's not hate speech. And we want to support Netflix in not pulling the special just because a small pressure group is telling them that there's such a thing as wrong speech and wrong speak, and that artists need to be shut down if they say the wrong thing. I'm a former journalist, I'm a writer, and I don't want to be shut down because I say something that is unpopular.
I'm not a man, ma'am. No, I'm not. I am a non-binary individual. There is no such thing.
So if you just scream it, I guess it just makes it right.
Money, money, money!
No, it did not.
Money, money, money! Money, money, money! Money, money, money! Trans lives matter! Trans lives matter!
Trans lives matter! Found a new way to cancel black men by becoming trans.
Do you realize that what he said was not funny?
What part? He said a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like about 40 minutes worth.
No. That special was hilarious.
What do you think of Ted's latest statement?
I think it's a good opportunity to start having conversations around what repair looks like. I think that the first step is to create tangible steps that lead toward the objectives that we're trying to achieve. So while we appreciate the acknowledgement of the screw up in his own words, we want to actually talk about what that repair looks like, what are the steps that Netflix is willing to take to be able to make that happen. And today we're going to be more detailed about how we're going to see that come to fruition should they choose to show up and fulfill that demand.
All right, let's go away from that crap for a minute. So this isn't about being heard at all. This is about getting money. They're using fake outrage. Oh, you said I might have to. Hopefully I'm not buffering. You know, I don't know how this thing is tripping right now. So hopefully if this sounds cool by the end of this broadcast, I will. But man, here we go again. Let's take down this black man. What are you noticing about this? This and Kyrie Irving this week have subsequently the same scenario. Some suck-ass Negro coming out talking about how much money they're making, and you shouldn't like them because we don't like them because they did their jobs. Charles Barkley, and now these idiots coming out here doing the same madness against and talking about, let's see what repair looks like. Tangible. But see, this is my problem. Tangibles now they're saying tangibles. And as soon, here's again, notice, now they have a black face with a mic in front of them. What was the first thing out their mouth? Tangibles. Not that it's going to be tangibles for anybody black. They put a black face on it because now there is black movement out here. You seeing the hijack? While trying to stab it in the back. No, sir. No. Matter of fact, who is funding Trans Lives Matter? Do we know who the money is behind that? I mean, you know, and all these other groups, they got so much to say. Who? I know the one group that came out, you know, I believe it was Tariq and Professor Black Truth that did a quick brief overview of this one, the first people that came out against Dave Chappelle and the organizations that they're tied to. Subsequently, the same kind of corporations that would be funding certain jabs. I wonder what Big Pharma has to do with black, what is it? Racial justice? That's pretty interesting. Henrietta Lacks family just now getting money, and we're talking about medical justice? There are people walking around right now. Henrietta Lacks is not the only one. Here's the thing, family. Most of us, well, I can't say most of us, but a lot of us have, you know, things in our DNA that are unexplained, but can heal in certain manners. You know, can still have long life with a, like, from birth condition, like sickle cell. You know, you can still have a long life if you take care of it. So, yeah, they steal everything. Come get this. Come get this sickle cell out of our pocket. Y'all want everything? You know what? That's when you find out that passing folks are actually black. You see a person, they go up there, like when white people have lupus. How many white folks? Y'all know somebody white that, oh, I got lupus. You do, huh? Interesting. Now, a white person going, now this is what most white folks that actually have sickle cell will tell you. They'll tell you they got lupus. Matter of fact, viewer one, you a nurse. Yeah, I got a nurse off been here. I mean, come on. I just can imagine the things you see. We have medical professionals off up in here. I mean, y'all got to see the most. I had a cousin with sickle cell. And then I got family members with lupus. So it's like, yeah, y'all want to steal something? You can come take these two off of us. We got you. It's right here for you. You want to be black so bad? Come get this. Come chill with this. Have y'all got y'all hot thotty sauce yet? Have y'all got y'all chicken? Nurse practitioner. See? Yeah, I knew it. That's good. We need that too. You know, I said in the chat once, we need black hospitals. It was like, hey, that's racist. You kidding? Man, I wish I could walk through a hospital and see all us. You know how comfortable I'd feel? Rheumatoid. Oh, yeah. Rheumatoid arthritis. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. My grandmother had it. No thotty sauce for me. Oh, man. The commercial is a killer for me, man. They just don't have any respect for black folk, which is my point about this broadcast. Because we'll start off here, because we're going to make our end the way around. What you guys aren't understanding about this move, and that's why I wanted to point that out, that the person they got up there to talk immediately used the word tangibles. There's a reason behind that. Remember when I told you that 3 groups were together, so they're basically in unison? You have the old school gay organization that has other underground shit tied to it. Then you have the trans, that, so like with the whole LGBT thing, it was really only G and everyone else. So y'all had to get down with that and under that umbrella, and now y'all move as a unit. But best believe, some of us know. So it's always going to be a reparations hijack, because this is a arm of white supremacy that dawns a sense of kind of a moral protections of somewhat. So either you're gonna just write them off and say, hey, I don't like that because you just hate gay people and stuff like that. So there are those people. So those people, they can say, we know what you're going to do. You're just going to write it off. You're not going to investigate the movement. Then you got the other right-wingers, like the Candace Owens types, even the black ones like the Tommy Lorenz, who really don't have any thoughts of their own. So they get out there and repeat the same talking points over and over, pretty much like you're hearing on the news about this venom right now. So, you know how we always say, man, it's great, it's winning. Well, ooh, they dead off of complications. Wow. Man, but you can still be more healthier because, hey, the death could have been worse without the venom. This is where we are today, people. They are talking to the American public this way. Oh, he died, but it would have been much worse. Oh, Raynaud's syndrome? Ooh-wee. Research your family history and get your status back. Yes. You definitely want to know what's in your family. I was raised with even understanding, knowing what was in your potential mate's family, which I would still advise you do. You know, are people in that family generally healthy long term? You know, all of these things, these used to go back into when I was young, you were taught to look for these things. Now, yeah, just be like, you like what your eyes see? Go get it. That ain't gonna build nothing sustaining. You better know what you work with and what will work with you. You said you need help with that, Judah Queen? Yeah. You know, again, we're in a condition to where a lot of how we are naturally supposed to conduct ourselves with each other has been stripped and replaced with absolute crude nature. That's why they pushing all of what you see on us right now. So to get you, if you are naturally thinking, you know what, I want to cover up. If you may be in somebody who used to show it all, and now you just naturally started covering up. Well, they take notice to that if they see multiple people doing that. And so then you throw a Cardi B out there, you throw a Meg Thee Stallion out there, all right? You know, and when you have them out there, now you are literally selling, and it is absolutely scientifically designed to be hottie sauce. When the song is tied, so the chicken and the sauce is tied to her song, referring to being on her thought. You can't get much clearer of the objective right there. So, hey, ladies, you know, you thought you needed to go ahead and click. No. Stop that. Go ahead and shake your ass a little bit more. So, what are we doing? And they got a whole brand new condom that they just brought out, amazingly enough, because remember, look at how evil the industry is. There was condom commercials nonstop. All of a sudden, the condom commercials stopped. What happened? You started getting the I'm on the pill, whatever that medicine is. And there's another one. There's multiple medicines out there like that that keep your detecting level down. So instead of promoting sex with condoms, you're just saying, well, you can have sex with a person that's undetectable. So they went from don't get nothing to have unprotected sex with somebody who you know got HIV. This is the world we living in, family. I don't know what else that promotes. You watch the commercials nonstop, especially on the black channels. I'm on the pill. I'm on the pill. I'm on the pill. Every other commercial break. What do you think they're pushing? So, now it's cool that Lil Nas X is on Sesame Street, but when Dave Chappelle talks about, because again, I have to go back to the point. Everybody keeps making what Dave Chappelle said about transphobia. No, he said you can't hate a gay person's feelings, but you can kill a nigga. I just can't get over the fact that we are overshooting the fact of the largest number of FBI statistics in hate crimes in black men to get out here to cancel a black man for telling the truth. Oh, yes, Tanya Zion, you didn't know that? Yeah, he was on Sesame Street. Yes, he was. He sure was. So here's a news article from the same deal, and we'll move on because we'll tie all of this in. Now, everything that I'm giving today is this on the same topic, just different angles of the bullshit.
Have protested outside Netflix headquarters in California over the broadcast of a comedy special by Dave Chappelle, which they say is transphobic. Our North America correspondent David Willis reports.
This is Dave. He tells jokes for a living.
Dave Chappelle is one of America's best-known and highest-paid comedians. But his remarks about gender have sparked a row, which, having started on Netflix streaming service, then came spilling out onto the company's forecourt. The comedian's declaration that gender is a fact and his characterization of the LGBTQ community as too sensitive prompted a walkout by staff and support from...
Now, this is a time... Now, think about what they were doing to Minister Farrakhan, right? They kept going back, trying to alter what he said. This is kind of the same in reverse. He said exactly his point. Number one, gender is a fact. Because this is what you're taught in school. You didn't graduate high school without knowing this fact. So it had to be a fact for you to get your damn diploma. And for all the college-educated individuals who are out here talking about it's not a fact, it was a fact when you got your paper to credentialize you. So shut up. Do you hear the idiotic nature of the world we live in right now? You literally had to prove it was a fact, and you're out here mad at him because he said so. I need everybody who's out there, please go run down to the spot if you had not already and make sure you get your vaccine. There is my PSA. Everyone out there, by all means, please go make sure you run down to the spot and get your COVID-19 vaccine. It is the best thing that you will ever know. Good God Almighty. You guys have won because, hey, whoever's paying you, make sure that you are good. So you need to make sure you get their medicine as well, since they're paying you. So make sure you run down to the spot and go get that shot. This has been the beatzillapdx PSA. Let's hear some more of this foolishness, shall we?
Transgender rights advocates, some of whom accused Netflix of profiting from hate speech.
We need to say it's not okay. This hate conversation was not their intention. We understand that jokes are jokes, things are things, but at the end of the day, if it's promoting hate and it's promoting discrimination, you are directly a cause of it if you're allowing it to happen and you're not doing anything about it. And that goes for anyone in this country, specifically people of power in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, that is not Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle don't own that. He's individual, independent contractor. So he gets paid for a job. He did his job. He got paid. Now, you have a problem with Netflix. Well, you might want to revisit something that happened here. And if I was Dave Chappelle, I think the bigger issue is his personal financial information was divulged. I'm pretty sure there's a confidentiality agreement at Netflix. So should somebody be going to jail? I don't know. But I mean, if somebody was in that type of situation, think now would probably be the best time to back the hell off. And stop looking for a damn apology for something that's a fact. Black men are murdered in the streets. You tell me where the Chicago is of the LGBT, where that New Orleans murder capital of the world stuff was going on. All this killing I got up in my city right now that they're trying to put black faces on, although it's white folks killing white folks as well. Let Laura Ingraham tell it. See this, they trying to pose us up here as we just some wild niggas. You got to get these black boys under control in Portland. Now I'm gonna tell you, everybody know how you could see the demographic, the number out here. They don't run us about a dang. I wish more of y'all around the world could just understand. Man, you can't walk like, you know, I used to grow up with people who would come from other places, be like, man, you can't do that to them people. Say, what? You scared of, man? You would rather raise your hand at another one of your own than somebody who just called you the N-word? What's wrong with you? Oh, man. And just watch some of them individuals grow up to sit up here and turn around and be like, well, I don't know. I mean, we just need to go ahead and listen to what they said. I've been trying to find a 2021 interview from Dr. Kismikia. So if anyone out there can find one, why don't you please let me know? Because as many people that told me this is why they went and ran down to the spot is because, you know, Dr. Kismikia was such an inspiration to them that said, well, hey, it must be safe. A black woman's part of it. Well, I wonder, you know, with Colin Powell and all, Dr. Kizzy, can we have some conversation with you? You know, this is your thing. You know what I mean? Hey, you know, you were willing to be the face of it. Why don't we get some answers from you? This is what I'm saying. You either with us or you against us. And we've had enough against us. Now's the time to choose where home is. Trans lives matter. Either you're black or you over there.
Having initially defended Dave Chappelle and the show's popularity, the streaming behemoth has since softened its stance in the face of a swathe of public criticism. In a statement, Netflix said, "We value our trans colleagues and allies and understand the deep hurt that's been caused. We respect the decision of any employee who chooses to walk out and recognise we have much more work to do both within Netflix and in our content." As for Dave Chappelle, he's given an apology of sorts.
I personally am not afraid of other people's freedom of expression. I don't use it as a weapon. It just makes me feel better, and I'm sorry if I hurt anybody, et cetera, yada, yada, yada. Everything I'm supposed to say.
And many of his fans agree it boils down to an issue of freedom of speech.
Black guy gets on stage, tells a couple jokes. I mean, he said some stuff about women where I'm like, whoo, my wife's not going to like that. But, you know, ultimately, you just got to go along with it, man. It's America. We're having fun. A little bit of free speech, a little bit of comedy, right? That's what's important.
Netflix has long maintained its support for creative freedom and artistic expression. It is now coming to grips with the fact that tied into that are some cultural sensitivities it cannot afford to ignore. David Willis, BBC News, Los Angeles.
Like that. Now, okay, those of y'all who are old enough, y'all remember Yahweh Ben Yahweh? I'm not sure what that activist's name. I'm pretty sure that is a trans woman activist. Why is she dressed like Yahweh Ben Yahweh? If y'all too young to know who Yahweh Ben Yahweh is, go look him up and see if they just put them pictures side by side. Oh, oddly enough, though, there is a ill tie-in. So you come out looking like a so see, this is where it's all wrong. Because Yahweh Ben Yahweh was the leader of a Hebrew Israelite group back in the day. So understanding how things work in the culture of Israelite culture, to be a trans woman with a turban on speaking is off. It doesn't make sense. But even as a man doing that, now it's off. So it was like, that's all wrong. It's just confusion on top of confusion. But if y'all go look at Yahweh Ben Yahweh, that's exactly how that person was dressed. Jesus. So here we go. And this is the how they're using. Trust me, you're going to hear much more of this. This is the one angle that's going to be bombarding us. So it's going to be this. It's going to be immigration. And it's going to be this fake-ass climate justice crap. Which, climate justice, are you kidding me? Before we enter any conversation into the climate, someone put on the news, what the hell is coming out of them planes every day? That everybody around the planet has been ingesting from these chemtrails. If you ain't want to tell us that, miss me about everything else you talking about. How could I trust the same people that won't tell me what's in the sky, but say, oh, well, trust this. This will work for you. Put it in your body. For all I know, it's the same thing. The one thing I do know is I don't trust your ass. I'm smart enough for that. Oh, man, you know, one of his followers, absolutely Trump supporter. You better know it. Oh, man. So we are going to look at this other angle of the reparations conversation hijack. You know what I'm saying? Because we need to look at all of that. So I will show you this on the screen. Look at that. You see up there, and this is why I put this in the screen. You are looking at the same person up there. So the person that was in the turban, right underneath is why I use Dave Chappelle's 846, which we now know has been that much longer. But ain't that exactly what he was talking about? You can kill a nigga, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings. That's why I got that picture right there. Now you are ready to vilify this man. Now, if you look a little further up here, look right over the protest, you'll see the people versus fossil fuels. That's right. And guess what they want? They want reparations. For who? For the people whose land was stolen. Who? And then you see Warren Buffett referring to benign neglect, and another official up there talking about benign neglect. And then in the up at the top, second in, benign neglect. Right underneath that, Joe Biden. And now, on the right, on the bottom, I wanted to show you, and these are pictures from my city. All that black power protesting thing you see over there. That's right here in Portland, Oregon. I just use that to just draw a contrast between what they are calling activism and the reasons for activism versus what we're actually living. See, these black folks down here on the right knew what our problem was. And look and notice, all of them together. There is no black this, there is no black that. There's just black. All together. Black men, black women, and whatever sexual identity you chose. Guess what? You still fell under that fist. And even look down at the picture. We're making sure that black children are straight. Making sure they're taken care of. Making sure they're getting fed right. You dig it? This is what was going on. That's the difference. What are they protesting about right now? You hurt my feelings, and somebody can hear you and be influenced. It took 400 years. Well, actually, what less than that as actual chattel slavery, but wasn't nobody hollering what was wrong then. You got over 2 centuries of slavery. And almost a full third. That's me. Understand me? Don't let these people tell you what you need to think. They know what they've done here. Don't let them distract you by, well, that's mean. No. Chattel slavery was mean. And ignoring the reparations of that situation is even worse. Talk to me about we have other issues. Any black person talking like that is a traitor. You dig it? So, with that being said, we're going to take the quick musical interlude, and we're going to get right back to this thing. Here we go, y'all. Be right back. The weekly wrap-up.
Tick faster, that'll be the hour they knock the slick blaster. Dick dastardly, a Muttley with sick laughter. A gunfight and they come to cut the mix master. And living the true gods, giving y'all nothing but the lick like 2 broads. Got more lyrics than the church got ooh lords. And they hold the mic at your attention like 2 swords. Or you the one with 2 blades on it. Hey you, don't touch the mic like it's AIDS on it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. Go back for those, for those of us who remember. Wake up. Wake up. So let's check this out. This was, I guess this past weekend. So on Wednesday, I told y'all about my conversation on Instagram with this woman who is part of this group that's now pushing for climate justice. Well, they're pushing for reparations. Let's just keep that clear. So they're pushing for reparations while talking about climate justice. But they're not talking about reparations for the descendants of American slavery. So foundational black Americans are basically being ignored, and they're trying to have this real vague talk about what reparations is. Mind you, the Native Americans got theirs. So talking about what you better take that shit to the casino, player. This is our conversation. So I got at this woman about using this hashtag for nefarious purposes. And I did it in a professional manner. But, she understands and just let you know, like, okay, well, now y'all gonna get put on notice. Reparations is for the descendants of American chattel slavery, period. Not to be convoluted with anything else. most of all, with your own thoughts. Because these people do this without the consultation of our community. And then get their asses out there, start taking money, having protests, getting in front of cameras and on radio, talking on our behalf, and ain't never hit the turf. You got to wonder, who sent you? Like the Antifa people here. You know, none of these people was from here. Then you got people going all the way from across, you know, oh, where are they at? Chicago. You know what I mean? So, again. So here, let me go ahead and play this video right here. Actually, one of these people was from Minnesota.
Now! What do we want? Climate justice! What do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down! 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 We don't get it, shut it down!
Ready, step! So everybody outside of the BRT team that's got the police line, let's move them to the sidewalk. All right. You guys got it?
Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on?
Tell you something, man. Here's the funny part about this. We don't need your money, let the corporations burn. You took their money already. What you talking about? We got a whole tribe here in business with Harris. What you talking about? Y'all got y'all money. The hell up off our stuff, man. They're just out there like they really serious about it. Where the see? Yep. Well, let that be a lesson, family. Again, new black media, the grassroots have been putting foot in boots to asses out here, so much so that they found something else to go waste money on. So here's a movement that will get no traction. You know, those times are done. You know, the spiritual, mental bondage that some people were under just doesn't exist anymore. So some of these people haven't learned that the old routine doesn't work anymore. So now they're just doing the old routine with the curtain all the way up, butt naked, and they still dancing in front of you like you don't know they naked. That's the best part. Like, we just get to sit back and look at you like, you really believe you thought we was going to believe that stupid shit. Well, thank you for letting me know what you think of me. You know what I mean? So this group here, Dolly Park, was one that I was interacting with on Instagram, who is part of one of these fake coalitions. Matter of fact, she's in the picture in my screenshot. So these people are getting good money to get out here and throw up black fists with no black person present to promote a different agenda. So now we're seeing what we're seeing. Remember I told you they're connected. So you saw in the trans flag, you saw the fist. Now all of a sudden in climate justice, you're seeing the fist. And then they're throwing indigenous people in front of them, right? That's what we're going to do. Yeah. So it's so funny, man. It just never fails. And even the more that black folks wake up, I hope that y'all fervently push back against such insults to your intelligence that these people will do to you. Because this is, and I hope folks understand, this is nothing but a way of distraction. Hey, look over here. And using the traditional $5 Indian. Let's look at this other one here. So here's some more of this people over fossil fuels. Now, how many of these people, notice they got Black Lives Matter chapters involved with them too. But I also saw Black Lives Matter with the Dave Chappelle movement. Same funded group. Y'all getting it? Follow the money. Follow the money.
Jonathan Price, say their name. Crowds rallied together downtown calling for reparations for the black community. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell shows us how this was part of a larger movement across the country.
Rallies were held in 6 different states today in what organizers are calling the March for Reparations to African People. San Diego was the backdrop for one of them. They gathered at the waterfront wearing masks with signs in hand. Among the crowd is Wendy Craig, who is part of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, the group that organized the rally. She says they're calling on people to do more acting and less talking.
Do a call out to white people to say it's not enough to say, that you support, black power. You really have to take a material stand of solidarity, and you have to turn over the stolen resources.
Wendy says many people that registered to participate in this event also raised money towards a collective reparations goal. She says there's been an increase in involvement this year, which she believes is attributed to current events.
4 years ago, when we organized a March for Reparations, we did not have a lot of success. But that shift through the George Floyd protests, with Breonna Taylor, with everything that's been happening, that shift has really brought a lot of unity to what we're doing.
Collectively, this organization had set a goal of raising $20,000. Wendy says they've surpassed that and will continue to raise money for the Reparations Fund. Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
That was not the video I initially intended to play. But that is this other group. Yeah, I can remove that. Okay, let me show you this other one. Get this on here. Yeah, I'm not sure what I was seeing in the chat. That looked like it was a little all over the place. Let's see. I did give you that. Where is this? What's that? Hopefully this is it. Okay, it's more of the same. Wait, I had two of them. Don't tell me the other one didn't download. In the meantime, please hit the like button. There it is. Hit the like button and please share this broadcast. You can text it amongst your friends. You know, there might be somebody out there who is down with this. That is not the one I wanted. So, like I'm saying, there's two different groups that's out here looking to get an attachment to reparations. And, there it is. So this is the People versus Fossil Fuels group. Come on in. There we go.
This week on Just Solutions, thousands of climate justice advocates and Indigenous leaders from around the country are mobilising in Washington, D.C. this week for the People versus Fossil Fuels protests. They're demanding that President Biden declare a climate emergency, that he ban new fossil fuel leases on public lands, and that he ends subsidies for the fossil fuel industry. Our guest today is Sharon Levine, winner of the 2021.
See? Now, notice how they're going to keep using these black faces. They're going to keep throwing black faces in the front of this argument for climate change. Now, she's out there with her black fist on her shirt. You know, I'm representing. But really, what is this about? This is about climate change, not about what's going on in your community. We are not affected by climate change in our community. We are affected by systematic white supremacy and anti-black racism. And we were starting to see on a low-level scale, some kind of repercussions on police for being race soldiers instead of doing the job of a police. But let's continue. You see, remember I told you when back in the day they had my mom doing that immigrants' right talk thing? Nothing different here. What they do, go get them a black lesbian to go be the face of it.
Goldman Environmental Prize for North America for her grassroots work that successfully stopped the construction of a $1.25 billion plastics manufacturing plant alongside the Mississippi River in St. James Parish, Louisiana. Her work continues as she battles yet another proposed petrochemical plant in her community. Sharon Levine is in Washington, D.C. this week to participate in the People versus Fossil Fuel protests. From Free Speech TV, Just Solutions.
Okay. So let's talk about this for a minute. We got all of these different individual groups. Now, they put her out there as the face of it. You know she don't run nothing in that organization, right? We are clear of that, right? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Who wanna think that she got the hold of the money? You think she got the checkbook? You think she writes checks? She signing them, or they get signed to her and she just get told where to go? Oh, Lord. See, this is game, y'all. Game, giggity, game. So again, you're this is the convolute. This is doing two things. Now, we have a few things to notice. One is that we are going into an election year. Two is that white supremacy and the appearance of superiority of white supremacy has taken nothing but an L in 2021 and continues to roll on and downhill. You know what I'm saying? They gave her the honorary title of Coon and Jones. Dominique Devereaux. You know, so they get these people and they're using this tactic. Man, one of the best tactics of manipulation is emotion. You know? So when they know what emotions that they can play off the masses with, which is what they have done for so many years. 2021 is brand new for these people. They don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what to do. It's like, well, truth be told, you're at about damn near an anniversary of losing. But, you know, I guess you have to learn the hard way. Man. Yeah, November 4th last year was a beast, wasn't it? Day after all foolishness was ensued, you had Roland Martin out there crying, look at my people, y'all, I'm so happy. Look at they voting. Now you got a whole new executive order that's another nothing burger that got black, and then as soon as you start talking about anything relative to tangibles, oh, LGBT and dreamers. So wait a minute. And how this? See, no, it's us, and then it's us, and oh yeah, that's right. Also, it's us. Who else? Us. Okay. Yeah. You know, and okay, so I'm gonna speak on this person I just had to get out of my chat. Sergeant Dobie. I don't know what was going on with you. But I've noticed in some of these other chats, you have went and done the whole subversive thing for everybody else's chat. So if it's my chat, you're dropping another person's name. I see you in someone else's chat. Jason Black told you, don't think that people don't talk. So, I mean, I've seen screenshots of you in another chat doing the same thing. When I say I'm a foundational Black American, that is not an organization. It means I am from the foundation of this place because my lineage is tied to it, as well as going over to other places to where our people ruled. So before I can make it back to Africa, oh, my family still has to collect the debt over there in Istanbul too. So when you all get get your head out your books and maybe go figure out your own damn history. Know your family history. I understand. We know nobody speak for yourself. Everybody because I don't know, you don't know. No, nigga, you don't know. Don't put me in your boat, dumbass. You see our research. So, I mean, the fact that you don't want to is what separates me and you. If you wanted to know, you could know, just like anybody else. You got so many researchers right here in my chat. For all the naysayers that do all of that, I just for the life of me don't understand why somebody spends so much energy trying to be subversive. But this new black media thing is going to be pressing and pushing forward and will not be deterred by that. Stuff works on burnout people. You need to get the burnout crowd for that. That ain't going to fly here. And let's just be clear. Unity is the Messiah. So you are an adversary by doing that. I don't know where you're thinking you're at, or maybe people think like, hey, I'll launch off by saying off the wall shit in the comment section. This ain't the place for that. You understand me? Yes, I crack jokes, but there's serious business going on over here. You know what I'm saying? I can have a comical delivery, but everything I'm saying is actual, factual, and it is imperative information, valuable information. You know, and I'm giving what I know and giving what's been given to me. Outside of that, you know, man, I'm not looking for much. I don't know what you're looking for, but you can stay. But as far as comment, you have to stay and watch. But it looks like the chat might not be working out for you. Now, back to what I was saying. We have these groups that are funded by the same entities that are here now to get us off of our game. Number one, and like I said it from the beginning of the broadcast, they have people from the top all the way to the bottom. So they got to know what's going on, just like being in this chat. You understand what I'm saying? I've long known the powers that be. Well, I mean, for what I've been part of, just shit, they're not going to let me go. I'm not ever finna be out of where they know. Are you kidding? But with this being said, you know, you have to know where things are in the universe, time, and also chance, because that's how things are played. And we are at a time to where, just imagine if someone spent $10 million, $20 million, even $50 million on different groups to make sure that they were able to circumvent a potential Messiah. Well, they're looking at one person. Maybe that was the mistake. See, that's, again, you know, I remember a time when I think I met the brother Sankofa. This is like, jeez. Damn, it's like back in the 90s. Back in the 90s. She might even be before I met my wife. So like 95 or 96. And just, you know, just on a random, just met him at a birthday party and started building and chopping it up. And just knowing like, damn, where are the rest of these brothers at that are thinking like this? To be where we are right now with the grassroots, you got the pull-up summer, the pull-up era, New Black Media Grassroots is just been, it's just amazing. So to watch what has happened, these people have to find a way to circumvent it because we're the unexpected. And the fact that there ain't just one, it's like, well, shit, we could go after this person. Well, no, we can't go, no. And see, here's the difference. The code is key. Everybody staying on code. That way, everybody knows they are looking out for one another. Establishing a code is also a problem for them. Huge problem for them. Why? Because then we start looking at the beauty in each other. Game over. Game over. We start looking at the beauty in each other. What then? What now? What kind of way do you divide us? See, right now, the only way to divide us is gender. Well, what happens when that little pony runs out? About out of gas. Because one thing, hate him or love him, one thing that Kevin Samuels has brought to the forefront by the big, kind of to-do on that lane, he showed you that men and women still want to be together, despite what they show us on TV. Black men and black women still want to be together. Uh-oh. Damn. 40, 50 years of hard work breaking these niggas up. And in one season, while everybody else is seemingly distressed, what do black folks do? Boy, oh boy, oh boy, that dating game and how to get them and how to keep them game has bloop, through the roof. Why? Well, you know, all of that independent, now be alone and all of that shit sounds good till you get the opportunity to put it to the test. Everybody starts saying, I think I could use a little company around here. Kind of better off not being alone. Right? So, I mean, things have changed, and they understand that. And also seeing that, well, once we start looking at each other, then that is alleviating the need for outside individuals. Oh, yeah. Outside individuals. Just like this group, we are finna get to the other group, which I just mistakenly played that video. But we're going to get to them too, because we need to understand putting black faces, and you put a, see, this is how you, I hate to say it, but in 2021, it's okay if your name is John Brown. Okay? You can be Ricky Muhammad, or, you know what I mean? You could be Sean, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to be the big super duper African name. If you're doing that now with this overly Afrocentric name that you wasn't born with, yeah, I'm calling a con, man. I'm sorry. I just, I'm Rafiki Shakur. I mean, just go, nigga. If you ain't one of them, then don't say you one of them. Outside of that, you got these people with these overly black names, especially you brothers. I gotta say it. Who remembers? I'm gonna get you, sucker. The brother went to the People's Revolution. You go get to the people. Coming out here, yes, when you talk a real black. And then his wife came out. Mr. Super Black Militant Man was up there married to Jan Brady. Well, in like fashion, fast forward to 2021. Facts stranger than fiction. Boy, I tell you what. So, before we get to this part, before I move on, let's just play a little bit of this foolishness, because we need to understand that sometimes we have to learn to be okay with closing ranks sometimes. Not everybody can be part of everything. And it's okay for us to let them know. And for those of you who in the chat, watching right now at home, wherever you may be listening on the road, pull over and see why. You can't let everybody just do what they want to in front of us and with our stuff. This is why.
So got to what? 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 go home. And I get all of my feathers.
What's wrong with that woman? Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. All right, we'll be right back. It's the midweek report. I'm sorry, this is the weekly wrap up.
Tick faster, that'll be the hour they knock the slick blaster. Dick dastardly, a Muttley with sick laughter. A gunfight and they come to cut the mix master. And living the true gods, giving y'all nothing but the lick like two broads. Got more lyrics than the church got ooh lords. And they hold the mic at your attention like two swords. Or you the one with two blades on it. Hey you, don't touch the mic like it's AIDS on it.
All right. We are back. $5 Indian. Absolutely. Oh, boy. There you go. They should burn her certificate. Right? So let's see. Let's go to this. So that's the same joint. Okay, you know what? I'll play this again. So again, the Uhuru movement or whatever, we're going to watch this one more time because this is... See, I wanted to give it, when I first came across this, I wanted to do some researching to see if this thing was on the up and up. Yes, TJ, she was a teacher. But I wanted to see if this was on the up and up or not. And I can't say I feel too hot about what they're doing because it's a move to say, let's get reparations for African people. So when I first heard that, I'm like, let me see what that actually means. So I read it. Let me go look up the group behind it. It's like, oh, no, this actually means reparations for African people. Not meaning us, if y'all didn't understand. So that does not mean us, okay? So they are not referring to us. However, one of us is the face of the movement. So, with that in mind, let's go forward.
Jonathan Price! Say their name!
First off, let's go back. Jonathan Price. Do any of you remember who he is? That was one that struck me a little weird too. I was like, you're coming out here talking about reparations, but you're chanting Jonathan Price? He was in love with the police. He was in love with the damn police. It just didn't work out for him when he walked up on them people and they blew his brains out. But yeah, Jonathan Price is the dude who went to he was breaking up the fight or whatever, and then went to the cop to go shake his hand, and the cop blew his ass away. That's Jonathan Price. That's who that is.
Crowds rallied together downtown calling for reparations for the black community. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell shows us how this was part of a larger movement across the country.
Rallies were held in 6 different states today in what organizers are calling the March for Reparations to African People. San Diego was the backdrop for one of them.
To African people.
They gathered at the waterfront wearing masks with signs in hand. Among the crowd is Wendy Craig, who is part of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, the group that organized the rally. She says they're calling on people to do more acting and less talking.
Do a call out to white people to say it's not enough to say, you know, that you support, you know, Black power. You really have to take a material stand of solidarity, and you have to turn over the stolen resources.
Wendy says many people that registered to participate in this event also raised money towards a collective reparations goal. She says there's been an increase in involvement this year, which she believes is attributed to current events.
Ooh, did y'all catch that? Collective reparations. Somebody want to tell me what the hell that means? What is collective reparations? What's that mean? See.
4 years ago, when we organized a march for reparations, we did not have a lot of success. But that shift through the George Floyd protests, with Breonna Taylor, with everything that's been happening, that shift has really brought a lot of unity to what we're doing.
Collectively, this organization had set a goal of raising $20,000.
Yeah,
Wendy says they've surpassed that and will continue to raise money for the Reparations Fund. Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
This is a reparations for white women movement. This is a reparations for white women movement, y'all. This is madness. Madness. Absolute madness. Oh, man. So, to add insult to injury now, okay. So, family, in a conversation when we're talking about reparations for our community, what faces would you want to see? You would expect the chairperson or leadership to look like the people who are descendants of slavery in this country, of course. Well, let me see. Where's this other? No, you know what? I'll play this. Let's play a little more. This is some more stuff I think I've seen from them. Oh, no.
The history of the Congress.
No, this is... No, I'll come back to that. Joker. Well, no. So here, let me play the chairperson.
Amalia Shatella, who is my leadership, who will be speaking shortly. And
wait, go back a bit.
I want to salute Chairman Amalia Shatella, who is my leadership, who will be speaking shortly, and just really salute that brilliant and incredibly dynamic presentation by Luwezi Kinshasa, the Secretary General of the African Socialist International. So it's a great honor to be here again as a member of the African People's Solidarity Committee, the organization of white people that was formed by the African People's Socialist Party. And I also want to salute Deputy Chair Ona Zenea Shatella.
Does that even make
so
sense?
Many of us in the African People's Solidarity Committee work directly under her office in the work on many fronts of going into the white community to organize other white people, to take a stand in genuine solidarity with the liberation of African people and for reparations to African people. And, you know, I want to say that the understandings that I present today and any time that I speak or, you know, in anywhere organizing, I could never come to these conclusions. I understand this because of the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party and the political theory called African internationalism that is put forward by Chairman Amalia Shatella, and which represents the world as seen and experienced by African and colonized people, which is something that they call on us as white people to adopt this viewpoint and begin to see the world through the eyes of those who have been, as the chairman says, the objects of history under this system. And again, I could never come to the conclusions that, that I can understand today, but it is extremely liberating for me and for us as members of the Solidarity Committee from the white colonizer population to be able to see the world as experienced by the African working class and the oppressed and colonized peoples of this planet. And again, I express my unity with S.G. Uwezi's presentation and have the responsibility to reiterate some of what is said there. And what I have learned from my years of working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, which has unconditional solidarity with the indigenous people and all oppressed and colonized peoples, is that when indigenous people had power, when they had control of their land, when they had their land, and when African people had their land, and when the people on the planet Earth still had power over their lives, that they had.
All right, so enough of that bullshit. Y'all notice who she keeps leaving out? She didn't mention black folk or African American once. All this talk about African, reparations, this, reparations, that. The people from Africa and the people indigenous here. What's up with all the vague talk? We're the black Americans. See, this is what I was like, I was going to give it a chance. And let me not just jump to conclusions here. Let me go look and investigate and just see. Well, Rashana, see, I agree. But who put her in this position? The chairman of their group is the black man to whom she mentioned, who she said was her leadership. Remember when I said just earlier in this broadcast that they make sure they have agents everywhere. This obviously is no exception. Not saying that white folks can't help black movements. No, that is not the case. But when you step into this space, especially now, you better have more than just a black face. You better actually have real black leadership. Because it's not going to be enough. This ain't going to cut it in 2021. Especially when we're talking about our reparations. No. We need to be the mouthpiece, the face, the mouthpiece, the face. Everything else outside of that could be done and delegated out. But as far as watching somebody get out here in front of the world talking about reparations, that, you know how that feels to me? That feels like, you know how y'all, there's been, we know these people that they free and say the N-word around them, and then they bring that person around you and be like, no, they cool. No, he finna get messed up if he keep doing that. So you need to check your friend. This ain't that environment that you let him in. We ain't getting down like that. But that's the whole thing. To come over here and, oh yeah, nigga, my nigga. You better cut that shit out, player. Hey, man, what's up with him? Yeah, we have to get back into this mode of just being normal. And there's another thing they said about Dave Chappelle. He blamed the community for being too sensitive. You ain't too sensitive. Y'all been rocking for just as long as the earth been. So what are you talking about? No, sensitive really ain't the point, because he wasn't saying it was sensitivity. It was about the power and the anti-black sentiment that now we see, and even these LGBTQ coons who have came out against Dave Chappelle. Still a coon. Jesse Lee Peterson in with a rainbow flag. That's all they are. We have to deal with this in our community. You ain't no more part of our community than Jesse Lee Peterson or Candace Owens. Miss me. Wordplay. Much Africa is a continent. Is a black, is not a country. Well, you know, these people over here are so unfortunately damaged from post-traumatic slave syndrome or disorder or response that this type of thing makes people feel comfortable. Because let's keep it a buck. Black folks do not like black folks in power with money. It just makes black folks feel at dis-ease. That's something else we have to get over. But that definitely is something that makes the masses, especially the people who are not in tune with anything, except for like what CNN and MSDNC say, then okay, well, Rachel Maddow said it must be true. Just amazing that people still believe in these people. So let me play a little more of this woman for you, just to give you a clear idea of the hijack move. And this is how our movements get infiltrated by things not being regulated. Now, I'm not saying, again, you don't have white folks that's part of these movements that are playing instrumental roles. That's not the case. But this is a reparations movement, not just a justice movement. It's literally reparations. And what I'm hearing is collective reparations that excludes foundational black Americans. There's no mention of American slavery whatsoever. All that rambling she's doing. It ain't mentioned about the effects of systematic white supremacy, economic oppression. She ain't talking about none of that. Let's hear some more.
African People's Solidarity Committee and has been a member of the African People's Solidarity Committee since its formation by the African People's Socialist Party in 1976. The African People's Solidarity Committee is the solidarity front of African People's Socialist Party to extend the African Revolution into the white community. She is the author of Overturning the Culture of Violence, a book based on African internationalism, understanding of Chairman Omali Yusitili, targeting white people to recognize their history of terror to African people and to stand in genuine solidarity with African liberation through reparation. Thank you. Go ahead, Penny.
In the world of idiocracy, she just read something that said African. Let's just look back at the screen. Oh, God, the hypocrisy of this is just stupid. At this point, this is just dumb. Black is back. Black is back coalition.org. And then you champion some woman that don't even mention that word. What are we doing here? This is ridiculous.
Overturning the culture of violence.
This is a profound honor. And as the chair of the African People's Solidarity Committee, I profoundly...
Did you catch that? And so, needless to say, when I had to come across this, I was like, wait a minute. African People's Solidarity Committee Chair, ladies and gentlemen, Penny Hess. Yes, Penny Hess is, she is here for African solidarity. So much so that she figured as a white woman, she was the one for the job. Oh, you can't make this up.
Only salute our leadership, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, Deputy Chair Onus Zene Yeshitela, Secretary General Luwezi Kinshasa of the party, who will be speaking next. Also, party members Alikia, Kalambai, Tisharwa, and just the entire inspiring, incredible revolutionary party of the African working class, the African People's Socialist Party. I want to salute Benjamin Prado, Unión del Barrio, and the struggle of the indigenous people from Alaska to Chile, and to say that this is their land, that no white settlers have any legitimate claim to, not 1 inch of this land. This land belongs to the indigenous people, and that to say that the African People's Solidarity Committee, just to reiterate what was said, is the organization of white people organized under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, directly accountable to the party in all our work. And our mandate is, as was said, to extend the African Revolution behind the enemy lines as part of the party's strategy to win complete and total liberation of Africa and African people everywhere. And our work is to
Africa, the liberation of Africa. Penny. You mean to tell me, Pennywise, oh, come on. So notice how none of our current issues that we face here in America are even remotely close to coming out this woman's mouth. She is completely dedicated to what? I don't know. But it definitely don't have nothing to do with us, and it shouldn't have anything to do with reparations, because foundational Black Americans, the descendants of slaves, the descendants of American chattel slavery, that is who is required reparations from America. So what is collective reparations? What does that mean? And this is why I got at that other person, because now, mind you, here we are. I've shown you 2 different groups doing exactly the same thing. Whoops. 3 different groups doing exactly the same thing. Go back to the beginning of the broadcast. I told you on the couple days ago, they were all together. And here we go. Here you go. Now, so that's the grassroots end of things. Let's go to the main stage, shall we? The people whose voices have the biggest influence, and let's hear them say nothing. This is from a while ago.
There was actually a hearing that was held on H.R. 40 and the concept of reparations, which essentially would allow for, a bipartisan commission to really study the question of the journey that African Americans have been on in this country, from slavery through Jim Crow, institutional racism, the legacy of it, and to figure out how America can come together behind the solution and what that would look like. But to also make sure that the record, is clear. Because for a lot of folks, it's not. And that's slavery, and it's the legacy of slavery as well. African Americans were largely carved out of the New Deal. So you had, the Depression and a response to it, but a response to it that only applied to some Americans, not all Americans, in certain instances. And then you had the greatest middle class in the history of the world built as part of American exceptionalism in the aftermath of World War II.
We just gonna skip over this huge part of slaves building an economy and then being set loose with nothing in that same said economy to which they built. Notice how we have enemies amongst us. You could dress it up in a suit and put tan skin on it, but it is no less Satan than anybody else. Do you hear this douchebag? How dare you? How damn dare you? Good grief. Well, and see, that's how they do. So you start talking past stuff so you never have to address systematic oppression as a politician. Who voted for this joke? And then they start coming out. They get real specific when it's time to come scream on black folk. Well, we gotta go. This is your guy. And when is he up for re-election? No tangibles, no vote. Hashtag tangibles 2022. That's right, Hakeem. That means you too.
A large part of that was the GI Bill. African Americans fought in World War II. You know about the Tuskegee Airmen and others.
All of the wars.
Just as courageously as others. I mean, you had the president parading the Tuskegee Airmen the other day. But African Americans, in large measure, were cut out of the GI Bill. And so part of what helped to build the greatest middle class in the history of the world didn't apply. So you had this long journey that I think is part of the historical record. Nobody can factually dispute it. And then the question is, what does it all mean for the conditions that many communities still find themselves in right now? And so I think that's part of the concept of HR 40.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos from Brooking.
Yeah. All right. Now. The lightweight talking on reparations, but notice how nobody's getting down to brass tacks of it. You notice that? We're not getting there. And there's a reason. So let's see. Let's go with Joe Biden's executive order. So we'll get into this. And it's on the White House site. And it's actually, the link is in the description of this video right now. So if you want to go look at Joe Biden's executive order for education and equity, you want to know what your nothing burger is this time around, that's where you got to go to see it and read it. And recognize that there is not anything specifically for black folks attached to that. Although, when you first go into it, it'll say black, 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 black. You'll see black just overused. Black, black, black. Blackity, black, black, black. Start getting down to the tangibles. It's LGBT dreamers and some old folks. So, it's not a black thing. It's a lift all ties. Or the tide lift all boats type deal. While peddling to black folks. See, I did something, man. There will be some of us that would be dumb enough to be like, see, now he did, you see what he signed in the bill now, he just did that. Because, blessed is he who readeth and you want to hide the truth from somebody, put it in a book. Good Lord. PDF, read it. Actually, it ain't even a PDF. It's on the site. It's an actual release. But anyway, moving forward, we're going to talk about some of the issues of the day concerning, because it all has to do with the same thing.
An executive order that seeks to improve education for black students. The White House is establishing 2 commissions within the Department of Education. One will raise awareness around challenges for black students. It will also increase black children's access to high-quality early childhood programs. The second panel will make recommendations to the president about educational equity and economic opportunity. According to the White House, predominantly black school districts are more likely to be underfunded than districts that are majority white. And according to experts, this could be a systemic racism issue.
Many neighborhood school boundaries were created in an era of racist housing codes. And what that means is you have a lot of low-income kids of color concentrated in some of the lowest performing schools. And we need to really take a look at the whole system, which really was created generations ago and rooted in systemic racism, and take a look at that and say,
bullshit. That's what you could say. You could just call it what it is. And this whole line of like it's a new thing, no, it's not. It's never stopped. The hell are we talking about? Since slavery, this has been the case. Y'all hear this mess? See, this is the type of conversation that they want people. This it is a subtle way of saying, see, things are different now than they were then. No, it's been like that. It started in racism and continued all of this time based and steeped and producing racism. We didn't get here by accident. What are we talking about? It's a whole freeway through the black community in my city. Go down the I-5 corridor. Look at where all the black thriving neighborhoods were. Notice I use the word were as in used to be. That's where I-5 is today. Come on. You know? So, you know, we've seen this thing. My thing with these people now, we just need an executive order for black folks. Everything with us is always parted out with everyone else. So, like, and I hope everybody understands now, this is why we must fervently push back against anyone of our own community trying to circumvent our unity. So if all of these people who are pushing like this whole Dave Chappelle farce, the fake outrage farce, the reason why it's a whole big protest and a big to-do is because Dave Chappelle didn't cower. So this is taking the shaming power away. Everybody talking about, we got to get rid of cancel culture. We need to get rid of cancel culture. Well, then kill the whole shaming shit. And it goes away. Just like that. And I mean, over here, dogs run the yard. Simple as that. It's a changing of the guard over here, man. All of that we finna cater towards people's emotions shit, you better toughen up and strap them boots up. We are not in the position of worrying about your damn feelings right now. If you don't know where this place is headed, you better take your ass over there with them then. But do not come back running up under our umbrella in our house talking about save me, save me, save me. I was wrong. We are giving you the opportunity to get on board now. We are a group. You should be part. But you want to be part of someone else's group. And then when they want you to talk against the group that you look like, then they'll say, well, hey, I know you don't really hang with your family, But get out here in front of this camera and talk about what we got to do. So make sure you talk inclusively about the black community, to which you don't actually mess with. So that's how people be getting fooled, thinking, oh man, you ain't seen this nigga nowhere. If we ain't know you, you don't speak for us. Where you been? Really? Y'all see what I be posting? I be posting stuff from 10 years ago. Like, where you been at? You know? And I understand. A lot of people, oh man, you know, where he come from. Psh, go check the track record. So, this here is another nothing burger by one Joe Biden. Black Biden sexuals. Y'all really have some explaining to do.
How can we do better?
And here
Yes,
to dive
Queen,
deeper
I
into this
have.
issue and the president's new order is Sharik
That's a
El-Miki from the Center for Black Educator Development. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
The executive order seeks to make good on a Biden campaign promise to expand access to high quality education and to combat racial inequality in education. So what are your thoughts on the timing of this order?
I think this order is really important and the timing couldn't be better. As you see, there's a consistent underfunding and undermining the educational outcomes of Black students. We see that the COVID exacerbated many of the racial inequities that had already been experienced for generations in Black communities. We see also that
That's not by way of education. That's by way of poverty.
this administration ran on the idea of diversification of the teaching force, understanding that 80% of the public school teachers across the country are white. Most of them are white women. Places
By
like
design.
Pennsylvania, 94% of the public school teachers are white. And what we have to have as a part of this is a concerted effort to diversify, but also to ensure that educators coming into schools, educating other people's children, are well prepared, have a deep understanding, and that we address the cultural incompetence that is really one of the biggest achievement gaps in our nation.
You bring up such an important point because what you're basically saying is that it's very likely that a Black or a brown student could go through their primary education and never see a teacher or experience a teacher that looks like them. I know that you're a former educator and principal. What were some of the racial inequalities impacting your school district?
They're just talking like this is new.
I'll start with what you led with, which is underfunding districts. There was a study done by an organization called Power, where they looked at and controlled for poverty. So even white districts that were poor, or when they were compared to Black districts that were poor, the Black districts still got less money. So the browner, the Blacker, the more melanin in that school district, the less funding that they will receive. And so that conversation about like how students are almost trapped in districts that the policies say they receive less money, that has been a continuation. So it's not just this idea of segregated, because I believe that there can be all Black spaces that are excellent. We see that in HBCUs. We see that in the historical attempts in the Black communities to build schools. We saw that in freedom school movements. We saw that in the Black Panther Liberation Academies. So it's not that in itself, it's the deliberate underfunding and undermining. And the other big piece that impacts Black student achievement is this idea that, and a lot of times when people are talking about achievement gaps, they're talking about students' test scores. The biggest, most pernicious gap is educators' mindsets about the Black children's capacity. So the gap is actually adult efficacy, mindset, paradigms, and what the actual child's potential is. And we see that is one of the...
Okay. See, this is my problem. and then this is why they got this spineless coward up here to get up there and start speaking for black folk. Because he's not going to say what it is. You know, he's talking around everything. It's white supremacy, my man. That's been the problem for a few centuries. If you can't find your way to make it to the term to which they created, we, as the grassroots, tell all of your friends and family, you ain't welcome on the turf. Because that punk shit right there is the reason why we keep losing. They always keep putting some sucker in front of a camera and to talk all the way around our actual problem. And then he's doing the same thing the white woman was doing. Well, you know, nigga, there has been nonstop economic deprivation of African Americans since slavery. And I guess you could have to include slavery because they didn't even have any economics to begin with. Ooh-wee, these people are traitors. Treasonous. Treasonous. And these people are the ones that who now need to start getting checked. Because they've been sitting up there just slickly undermining black folks under the guise of being some kind of scholar. Nah, they not. They not. He just another dressed up Candace Owens. Man, we need to get to Jesse's. Get to Stevens. You know what I'm saying? Get him out the paint. Get him out the paint. Exposed. But again, you know, look where he's talking. He's talking on Byron Allen's network. Ain't that BNC? Ain't that his thing? No. There's some white folk behind that. They put a black face in front of it at first, you know, but of course, if it's going to go out through the masses to black consumption, then they want to control it because they don't want black folks talking to black folks unmonitored. You know, separate. Well, you know, separation, it depends on what that looks like. See, to separate, there were people in America that did that before. There were the Davidians down there in Waco. The Bundys, they keep trying to do that. They keep riding the line. Then you had, let's see. Who else was doing it? Oh, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. I think he died in prison. Malachi York and them, I mean, they was doing it. And then, of course, Move in Philly. All to which had the understanding that they were going to do their own thing. But, you know, didn't have a way to defend it. And that's always been the problem of keeping black wealth in America, is not being able to properly defend it. So, you know, for people who do, man, for people are into so many different things. I just got to wonder for the people who like, I need my stones. Do you ever like ask for the destruction of this place in these stones? I'm just saying, whatever you're into. I mean, this the destruction of oppression and that system of oppression. Does the destruction of it matter to you? I mean, I would like to see white supremacy destroyed. Where's the balance in that? There's no balance in that. The balance is one way. And last I checked, that means that someone is always in an absolute situation of despair while actually calling themselves righteous. Can't y'all see the devil talking? Anybody telling you that that's okay, they are sick. No. No, no, no. And don't envy this demon. Because at the end of the day, we have a lot of these people that do really want to be accepted by the dominant society. So they'll sell us under the river, sell us up the river any chance they get. And you got this, you said my mom and dad were thriving from a trade from high school. Absolutely. And they've got that out of schools. You know, it's funny. All these people that were so mad at Kwame Brown. Like, man, why don't you build a school, build a trade, blah, blah, blah. What Kwame Brown was telling you is trade should be in the school. If your children can have rainbow, what was what they had a name for it. When they had these, the trans women reading to the kids, doing some of the stuff I saw, I was like, I don't even understand it. I get, okay, I live in Portland, so you could go to the library and it's very possible that you may have a trans librarian here. That would not be abnormal. So, but they're not doing all of the over-the-top thing. They're just a librarian that happens to be trans. All that over-the-top shit, I don't get it. And being from here, it's like my cousin's partner. It's like, I can't stand that. Oh, that's right, I did tell you, like, my cousin's gay. You know, oh, you hate? No, I don't. I'm just aware enough to know and been around long enough to know better. So, moving on. And I will be wrapping up with this little part. First, let's hit a little taste of Al Sharpton. Because, you know, all of a sudden, it's important to be in the conversation of reparations. But nobody's really talking about anything tangible. That's why this whole, like, there's going to be this, you're going to start seeing all this whole weekend, this big ordeal about how great this thing that Joe Biden just signed in is. It's going to be for black people because they're great. This dude that we were just watching couldn't tell you anything that the black kids are going to benefit from. But anyway, here's more of the BS. I keep telling y'all, it's about y'all. It is not, they know it ain't about them anymore. It's about you. And so they got to sit up here and get you back on them.
Nation. Louisville Mayor Greg Fischer signed a resolution this week showing support for federal legislation that would study long overdue reparations for black Americans. The resolution notes that, quote, practices at the federal, state, and local levels effectively kept enslaved people and their descendants in positions of servitude and at an economic disadvantage, and that the federal bill would start the process of addressing those inequities, end of quote. Joining me now is Louisville Mayor Greg Fischer. Now, Mayor Fischer, Congress has been trying to pass reparations legislation since about 1989, but this year was the first time it made it out of committee. What made you and the Louisville Council decide to put your support behind the House legislation, and do you think it has a chance of passing?
Well, good to be with you, Reverend Al. Look, this bill is long past due in terms of being studied here by the Congress. I mean, that's all we're talking about here, is putting a commission together to study the harm that enslaving people has done to African Americans, descendants of slaves. And I don't think anybody can argue with the fact that the early wealth of this country was built on the back of enslaved people. The wealth gap, the income gap between black and white Americans is a major source of multiple problems in the country today. So the very least we should be able to do is step back and take a look at our history and say, how can we move forward from here? Now, whether it will pass, I think it can get out of the House, but to get 60 votes in the Senate would be tough. But that is no reason why cities all across America should not be pushing their U.S. senators to say it is beyond time to take a look at this and move toward a more just America. And in the process of doing so, it's going to help all Americans, Black Americans, white Americans, and lift our entire country up.
I never understood why reparations was controversial only when it comes to blacks or descendants of slaves. It's not controversial when we've done it for others who didn't build the country, but I guess I do know why. But Mayor Fischer,
Right. But you got yours, Al. You got yours, pimp. So, y'all seen, see, you got him up here doing the whole reparations conversation. Peep game, y'all. Peep game. See, right now we're pushing for reparations. At the same time, they are banning critical race theory. Why do you think it's so important? See, we're going to go ahead and start putting these laws in so they can sit up there and hang in the balance forever till the cows come home, right? And then later, that's when, we can have a whole generation that doesn't even have a mind or a thought of reparations. Why? Because they couldn't be taught it unless it was from their parents. And we see how many of these people are, right? Well, let's once again review The View, shall we?
In blue-leaning Virginia is being seen as a barometer for which way America will swing in 2022 in the midterms. And one of the key issues up for debate is how much of a voice parents should have in their child's school curriculum, especially when it comes to subjects like sex education and critical race theory. I thought they didn't teach critical race theory until they went to, law school or something.
That's right. I sure hope not, because I'm not certain 7-year-olds need to learn it.
It just sounds crazy to me. But the question is, do parents need more influence here, or should they leave the lesson planning to the pros?
Well, I was a teacher, and there is a curriculum that teachers follow, and it's studied by supposedly experts. I have a lot of education credits because you learn how to teach and you learn your subject. So you can't really pit that up against a parent who just is annoyed that you're teaching, To Kill a Mockingbird or whatever the curriculum says. You can't have the parents interfering to that extent in the curriculum. But it's nice to hear from them.
Let me forward a bit.
And I think that's a signal.
Let's get
homeschooling them in increasing numbers. And I think that's a signal. First of all, parents ought to be involved in their children's education. Their children are in school 7 hours. That's a very formative period. And I think parents ought to have a say. We used to have parent-teacher conferences. We used to have PTAs. There are lots of ways for parents to be involved, and they should be. But if I could take a moment to talk about the whole issue of critical race theory and what is and is not being taught.
Please do.
I come out of an academic institution, and this is something that academics debate, what is the role of race and so forth. And let me be very clear. I grew up in segregated Birmingham, Alabama. I couldn't go to a movie theater or to a restaurant with my parents. I went to...
There's the first move here. Here's my credentials. So my black card here. See, here's my black card.
Segregated schools till we moved to Denver. My parents never thought I was going to grow up in a world without prejudice, but they also told me that's somebody else's problem, not yours. You're going to overcome it, and you are going to be anything you want to be. And that's the message that I think we ought to be sending to kids.
You move from the oppressive South to Denver because racism isn't your problem. Y'all hear that lie? Parents probably rolling over in their graves.
Worries that I have about the way that we're talking about race is that it either seems so big that somehow white people now have to feel guilty for everything that happened in the past. I don't think that's very productive. Or black people have to feel disempowered by race. I would like black kids to be completely empowered, to know that they are beautiful in their blackness. But in order to do that, I don't have to make white kids feel bad for being white. So somehow this is the
me making my children feel any kind of way has nothing to do with that. But that brings me to my final question. Because in the midst of all of this, we're talking about actual history, but it's racial history. Well, most people, when they think about racial history, only think about how black folks have gotten their asses whooped on the Edmund Pettus Bridge and been in slavery. Let's watch all these slave movies, and downtrodden and good times, scratching and surviving. Get over it. So long ago. None of my family had any slaves, bro. Well, it looks like the anti-critical race truthology, the anti-white supremacist history teaching. Maybe we should title it that. This is the history of white supremacy in America. We could do that. They labeled it. We didn't. So anyway, looks like a hiccup happened when a white person thought that you could talk about critical race theory evenly across the board. No, we know for a fact the only reason why anything is a problem with what we're talking about our history and how we've been done in this country, is because they're guilty. And if things were made right, they would no longer keep that dominant position. So, rightfully so, within a mind of self-preservation, they are acting in their best interest. Usually, till you offend the big dog. So, now my question is anti-CRT also anti-Semitic? Let's see if, let's just take a listen to this.
A highly offensive remark made by a district administrator.
And Shannon Murray is live at the Carroll ISD headquarters in Southlake to explain.
Well, Tim and Lauren, a district leader, reportedly made some controversial comments regarding the Holocaust during a training with teachers last week. And a staff member secretly recorded that meeting and shared the audio with NBC News.
As you go through, just try to remember the concepts of 3979 and make sure that if you have a book on the Holocaust, that you have one that has that has other.
How do you oppose the Holocaust?
Believe me, that's come up.
Well, NBC News identified that employee as Gina Petty, the Carroll School District's Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction. The district leader trying to apparently explain the implementation of a new state law that takes effect in December. HB 3979 requires teachers to present different perspectives when discussing controversial issues. On Facebook, Superintendent Lane Ledbetter apologized, saying, quote, "The comments made were in no way to convey that the Holocaust was anything less than a terrible event in history. And we recognize there are not two sides of the Holocaust. As we continue to work through implementation of HB 3979, we also understand this bill does not require an opposing viewpoint on historical facts." Now, just last week, the Carroll ISD School Board.
Well, damn. All of a sudden, critical race theory is actually deemed historical facts. Y'all see that? Wow. Now, when it was black folks, it's a theory. But when it came to the Holocaust, being affected by the banning of critical race theory, all of a sudden they're referring to it as a fact. Historical fact. All right. All right. Mm-hmm.
Overruled administrators and reprimanded a teacher for having a book in her classroom titled "This Book is Anti-Racist." A parent complained when their child brought that book home. And the backdrop for all of this is the long fight over Carroll ISD's new diversity and inclusion program, which has gained nationwide attention. Dr. Ledbetter went on in that statement to say that they will work to provide more clarity about the expectations for teachers in the classroom when it comes to this new law that goes in effect in just a few months. Live in South Lake, Shannon Murray for Good Day.
So, I hope that this broadcast has been enlightening and educational for you. And make sure everybody that's against CRT understands, hey, man, you're sounding a little anti-Semitic. You hear me? You're having a problem with historical facts, buddy. I mean, since critical race theory has now been proven to also involve the Holocaust. Boy, you guys didn't think this one through, did you? Oh, I love it. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. When these plans of the devil come to naught. And all you can do is just sit back and watch. You got so much energy just to fail. But you wouldn't be you if you didn't try. So, you know, ride it till the wheels fall off is all I can pretty much tell you. Because, you know, we are in the last days. And with that being said, it is also proclaimed that there would be an individual or maybe a multitude. Maybe that individual actually represents a multitude. Because, you know, things are analytical and parabolic. So imagine this. Multitude, one mind. If you look at a reading, you would see one person. But instead of one person's, it's many. Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. Yeah, you see the cookie crumbling, don't you? The chains at the Statue of Liberty's feet are rattling. What you gonna do? It's time to stop being black and time to make a choice. You could be part of the old thing, because if you want the old wine, go with the old wine skins. If you want the new wine, better come down and get with the team. New wine skins. Because this is how we moving over here. You dig it? You know? So, again, y'all, I hope y'all have enjoyed this broadcast. You know, y'all have been with me for a minute. y'all say y'all like these longer ones. I appreciate it. Y'all like hearing me. So thank you very much. You can follow me at Beatzilla. On Instagram at beatzillapdx. You can follow me on Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can follow me on Patreon, beatzillapdx official, Facebook, beatzillapdx, and of course on Melanated People, Michael Beatzilla Whitmore. And you can also email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. That's ourrealtruth@gmail.com. Yes, indeedy. And, we will get ready to get out of here real quick. But, of course, one more time before the minister and my final adieu. Let's groove one more time before I let y'all go. Let y'all go out on a good note. Because this here is the weekly wrap up. We will be right back.
Tick faster. That'll be the hour they knock the slick blaster. Dick dastardly, a Muttley with sick laughter. A gunfight and they come to cut the mix master. And living the true gods. Giving y'all nothing but the lick like two broads. Got more lyrics than the church got ooh lords. And they hold the mic at your attention like two swords. Or you the one with two blades on it. Hey you, don't touch the mic like it's AIDS on it.
All right. We are about out of here. Of course, if you guys feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, you can do it if you want to. CashApp, $, Beatzilla, PDX. That is CashApp, $, Beatzilla, PDX. And with that being said, family, you know how we do. We will always hold on to the stone of truth like that great millstone and knock out the brains of Satan. See, this is why I wanted to always end with this, because this is what was misquoted. And then they turned around and made people walk off of this man. For this, who the hell do you think you are to try and pick my friends? Y'all have a blessed, prosperous weekend, y'all. Thank you for everybody who is given to this broadcast. Peace, blessings, power, and protection be unto you. And stay vigilant, stay faithful, stay safe, and stay aware. Keep that spiritual mind popping. You dig? Shalom, y'all.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir, you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yes. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.